Hi there, my name is Vincent Campagna, and today I'm going to be talking about Bon Appetit and the food service here at St. Edward's University. On behalf of Campagna Consultants, we did an analysis on the food quality and service here, and today, and to see what St. Edward's and Bon Appetit could do better to improve their overall performance. So Natalie Fan will be talking about the introducing what, our entire project and everything. Francesca Shire is going to be talking about the primary research and data collection. Jamie Morales is going to be talking about the secondary research. And Adriana Munoz is going to be talking about the findings and conclusions. Finally, Natalie Fan is going to come back with her recommendations, and I'm going to give it a short recap and overview. So without further ado, Natalie Fan.
Thanks, Vince. All right, so I'm Natalie, and I'm going to be talking about the background of Bon App, the situation that they're in and on campus, the general manager's expressed goals, and an overview of our primary and secondary research. So first, Bon App is the primary catering service on campus. Mike Smith is the general manager, and he oversees both Hunt Cafe and Ragsdale. In addition to Hunt and Ragsdale, there are other food services on campus, such as the two Joe's locations in Doyle and in Ragsdale, as well as a convenience store located in Hunt, Chillers on the Hill, which is our version of Starbucks, and the Huddle, which is located in the Hunt Lamont Canyon. So there are 5 meal plans that are available to students. The first 2, freshmen, are usually the ones who order or purchase them, and they're the highest ones. The other 3 are 2 other meal plans, and then the commuter meal plan, which is the most popular one among upperclassmen. So some of the goals that Mike Smith kind of expressed to us was that he wanted to improve student satisfaction on campus, to entice returning students to order higher meal plans. And he also wanted to expand his outreach to students because he doesn't feel like there's enough student feedback or input. We received 243 surveys, and that comprises of our primary findings. We went over, or we kind of, in our survey, we decided to highlight a few of the things that stood out to us most, which were late night dining, food variety, and pricing of food. As for our secondary findings, we did research on Grubhub and Forbes, and I'm going to come back later with some of the recommendations on what we can do in order to find solutions to these issues. I'm going to pass it over to Fran to talk about our primary research and data collection.
So I'm Francesca, and I'll be talking about the primary research, data collection, and analysis. And we collected our primary research through surveys, and the purpose of it was to be able to gather all the information and make the best recommendation as possible. So some of the steps was develop questions based on our client needs, review them with professor and client, making edits, distributing surveys to classmates. We receive the feedback, we make additions, edits, and we finally got to our final survey and we distribute it among campus. So population. We decided to distribute our surveys to students, faculty, and staff because they spend most time on campus, so they're more exposed to the dining service here. And the places where we distributed the service was in front of buildings, like outside areas, in common areas too, such as like Hunt Hall and East Hall, and also in classrooms. So our analysis, we distributed 250 surveys, and we got back 243 surveys, which gave us like a 94% of confidence level. We didn't have we didn't consider any valid surveys because they didn't affect any of our results, and it didn't affect our efficiency. And And now I'm going to pass it over to Jamie, who's going to be talking about the secondary research.
Hello, my name is Jamie, and I'll be presenting the secondary research as Fran stated. We use 4 sources, Bon Appetit, Forbes, Grubhub, and Virginia Tech. We use secondary research to derive information that Bon Appetit could pertinently find useful. For Bon Appetit, the food service stands as the forefront in the food service industry, being the first to incorporate many responsible and sustainable food service practices. Food is fresh, and they, on their website, they emphasize that it's fresh and it tastes good. They also support local agriculture, which adds much needed financial support to these local economies. And it's also helpful in that there's a lower environmental impact by supporting these local economies. So for Grubhub, Grubhub stands as an online food ordering and rating service here in the United States. With their prominent position in the dining and restaurant business, Grubhub recently released a study on college diners. The results showed that college diners are 87% more likely to order late-night dining options than the average diner. The study also showed that college eaters are 28% less likely to order healthier food options than the average diner. The study also concluded that average college dinner spends 10% less than the average customer. On top of this study, college eaters are also 67% less likely to order food early in the morning than late at night. Another source used was Forbes. We used it mainly for demographical information. So for the student population, the majority is white, composing of 49.92% of the population, followed by Hispanic Latinos with 32.72% of the population. Non-resident aliens and Black or African American both have just under 5%. Also, 2 or more races is 3.46%, Asian, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander 2.35%, race, ethnicity unknown 1.6%, and American Indian or Alaskan Native 0.68%. For Virginia Tech, the food experience from this university is highly ranked in many sources online and has been over the past few years for many of its awards. Some of these include #1 top universities for food and dining ranked by students from the Capex College Insider, #1 best cafeteria variety from the College Prowler, #1 best school dining from the College Prowler. And these were all in 2013, and they have received much more awards and honors. The reason this, one of the things this source is good for exemplifying is that food items are identified online where there is nutrition information and a complete list of ingredients and allergens for each specific dish from all their dining areas. And now I will pass it on to Adriana to present findings.
As he previously stated, my name is Adriana, and I'll be going over my findings. And these are the graphs we created, and what it's basically showing is the classes surveyed, and we found that the majority were the class of 2016. And we also did a table to show the meal plans purchased, and as Natalie previously stated, the most popular one is the commuter's plan. And now this was the graph for the dining area preferences, and it shows how 31% did the South Congress Market, which was Ragsdale, and then the 34%, which is the Joe's. So that was the most popular one. And then the food types, this was our survey, and what they showed is that they prefer eating, or if they were given the option, they would like to have a greater variety of Italian food, Chinese, and Indian. And then our primary findings that we found through open-ended response questions where that the students perceive Bon Appetit service positively, but unfortunately they think the pricing is unsatisfactory and that there's poor late night dining options. And then with the secondary research, our main findings were that Bon Appetit supports local agriculture, they protect farm worker rights, they also address food role in climate change, and lastly, they ensure food service for sustainable future. And then with Grubhub, we found that 87% of students are more likely to order late night dining options, and 67% are less likely to order food in the morning than the average college diner, and 28% are more likely to order healthier food. And lastly, the average college eater spends 10% less than the average customer per meal. And with Jamie's findings, he did the Forbes and the Virginia Tech, and Forbes is basically stating how 45% of the student population is non-American, which shows that they would prefer a greater food variety. And Virginia Tech University stated that athletes, vegetarians, and vegans, and people with food allergies would benefit from a clear source of nutrition and allergen information, and that's something we believe Bon Appetit is currently lacking. And now I'll pass it on to Natalie.
Okay, so as a result of our primary and secondary research, we came up with a few recommendations, and they kind of just tackle these issues right here that we kind of outlined: pricing, variety, and lack of late night dining options. So in order to execute these recommendations, we have to make sacrifices. I'm going to tell you what those sacrifices are, some of the benefits of these changes, and what the changes will be. So first of all, I just want to talk more about the issues. Students were unsatisfied with the pricing of the food. They demanded larger variety, especially in Chinese, Italian, and Indian food, and they expressed the desire to have more late night dining options. Some of the solutions to this would be to develop a system online that would collect student feedback and collect input from students, because Mike Smith said that he wanted to have more involvement within the student body. And in order to do this, you need to build a strong online presence and create a social media presence, really, and implement a social media campaign. In addition to that, we recommend that Bon Appetit extend their hours of at least one of the main dining halls within the school, either Ragsdale or Hunt. And in order to do this, you need to sacrifice some of the hours in the morning when food is not ordered as much, such as the breakfast hours. In addition to this, we recommend that Bon Appetit introduce a more diverse entree menu and add Chinese, Indian, and Italian food to the menu, and replace some of the least ordered or demanded menu items on their current entree menu. And lastly, we recommend that to drive down the price of foods, Bon Appetit invest in more cost-effective raw foods rather than sustainable foods. So sacrificing sustainability for cheaper foods will entice returning students to order higher meal plans. So I'm going to pass it back to Vince, and he's going to wrap it up.
So, in all, we have a lot of different things that we've gathered through our research. The main things that we've definitely seen a problem in, I've heard from people on campus as well, is the pricing. The pricing is way too high, and there needs to be something done to address that. Definitely the variety. They've made an attempt this semester in making the huddle change every couple weeks to a different type of food, but they haven't really asked the students what type of food they really want. And through a voting structure, like we said, students could be able to pick what they really want to eat and actually go eat it. And the main issue that has been overwhelmingly from our surveys is we need to have a late night dining presence here on campus. So our main recommendation is to incorporate some late night dining at least one of the halls here on campus for students to go eat at. This will create a reason for students to spend more on their meal plan and not have to spend their money somewhere else late at night. They can actually get a meal here, especially during finals and stuff. I know many students don't want to get up and leave campus. They want to focus on their studies. The voting system would be a great incorporation as well. But overall, late night dining is the main thing. So I'd like to thank you guys for listening to us today, and I open the floor to questions.